Hi everybody, it's Katie. Welcome to season 11 of my Island Designer series. This season we are doing Ancient Jungle, a Mesoamerican expedition. Last time on episode 2, we finished this big, beautiful, just kind of Mayan, almost a Mesoamerican style pyramid, temple structure, and all the jungle space around it. Up here you can see there's a perfect, beautiful view to look out at, and I just love it. I love the way that this particular pyramid came together. After finishing the big project here, I want to go back to town. You see, all my villagers live in the bottom right-hand corner of the island, and I would really like for them to have a little bit more love. Let's bring this forest in. You can see all the houses down here take up a pretty good chunk of the island, a full fourth, a whole quarter of the island down here, and some of it's already done because we've started other projects like the entrance and the entrance to the jungle. I have these little piles set out everywhere. I have ideas for these little booths, these little stalls with all kinds of products for the tourists to buy. As I was collecting items for the island, anytime I found a collection of things that I really thought went well together, I started them in these little piles so I could remember that I wanted to use them for the booths. Like this one here, you can see is clearly gyroids. Down from the booths and all of that sales area, we have a beach. I want this to be an absolute classic tropical beach. And then we have a couple more villager houses up here on the cliff. They have a beautiful view up here on the cliff, and I want to make sure there's room for a lot of greenery. If you check out the map, you'll see all the houses down here just kind of clustered together in the corner inside where the river boundaries are. And my goal for today is to finish this entire area, which, as you can see, is a fairly large piece of the island. I think it's doable because we've already started, the terraforming is done, the villager houses are all moved, and the pathing is done. So even though it's a big project, I think we can tackle it all in this episode. As I got started with the village, I decided that my main goal was to make it into a tourist area, but also as if it was just coming right out of the jungle. You see the ruins, let's call them, the ancient structures that everybody is here to see would have been out in the middle of the jungle, not by a big town or community, and they've built a little bit of this area. There are no big giant skyscrapers or highways or anything near that nearby. If you want to come and visit the structures here in this ancient land, you really have to get out and almost a little bit rugged. I envision all of the villagers who live on this island as taking care of the tourists. They are all part of the business of this area, selling products or services, cooking food, taking care of the island. My girl herself is in charge of everything. She is named Professor Ezel, and she is really in charge of the research, development, and all of the people who learn about the area. Education about whatever the mysterious people were who lived here in my Animal Crossing kingdom. This whole area is covered in tourist items. These little booths have a lot of random things. You can see the one I just put together has a bunch of the little zodiac figures. I think those little statues are perfect to pick up and take with you as, a memento of your visit to the island. For the Able Sisters, I considered hiding the building entirely, but I put a couple clothes, outfits on the mannequins so it looked like they were designed, and it worked out. I think that actually looked pretty good by the time I was done with it. A lot of the area has just little booths, little structures, little areas with anything that seemed to me like it might be useful for the tourists to see. So like out here on the peninsula is an information statue. I struggled to figure out what I was going to put underneath it, but I was real happy by the time it was done. And I love the way that the information statue looks out over the water, and for me, it tells the history of the island. I think it records all about the ancient people who used to live here, and I think that this is the very first spot where they think they probably landed when they came and colonized the island in the distant past. Everyone who comes to visit sees the ruins, learns about the people, and comes to visit the information statue where the people first settled the island. The area I'm working on now that you can see is actually one of the areas built for the locals. It's tucked around the corner on the back, or at least the side part of the beach, and I really think that it makes more sense this would not be part of the tourist area. A lot of the people who live here probably do fishing. I would assume that at least a couple of the villagers are focused on fishing because they would need all that fresh seafood for the restaurants as people come to visit. After putting all of the different items in place, it was time to start on the jungle part of the area, and that means a ton of custom patterns. Trees, bushes, flowers, and gobs of custom patterns. Hundreds, in fact. I'm just showing you the very beginning of this process in a couple areas, but this actually took almost 3 hours to get all the custom patterns in place and the design of the build. Some of that's because I'm crafting items as I do it, but for the most part, I think it's coming together great, and I love the custom patterns I chose. The jungle village, the neighborhood for all my villagers is done, and I am so excited to show you guys. Look at the finishing thing. You can see the little gyroid shop here, gift stand. If I come down here on the beach, clearly Zahara is visiting. Annabelle enjoying a walk on the beach, and then the beach area itself. There's kind of a cool entry exit to this thing you can see as you come down into the beach that I really love, and then this is meant to be for the tourists, of course. Behind the tourist area is more like a community area. This is the fishing docks and the fishing market and all the boats. I imagine this is more of an area that just the locals know about, not the people who are visiting the island. Above this little shopping area here are a couple more of the houses. I really like the way that they tuck into all the trees up here, and the cliff just looks so big and beautiful and lush. I love these patterns. If we come up just a little bit, you can see the cliff where Flip's house is, and I finished it off. Some of it was already done, but I got all sorts of greenery put in place and a little bit just up here on the cliff. I love the way that you can see some of the jungle behind it and the waterfalls peeking through, and this part of the island is, I think, even visible on the flyover, which is kind of cool. Right by the entrance to the jungle area is Clay's house. It's just decorated pretty simple, few little things, and the sign, of course, so you know where you're going. Maybe we'll pull it over just a tad. There we go. And then, of course, back here with the other shopping area. Excuse me, Clay. Excuse me. Sorry, I need through. Right here you can see this is the instrument booth, all kinds of things ready to sell to the tourists, as well as the zodiac figures over here. I really think they look perfect as gifts, as if you were going to buy a souvenir. Over here on the peninsula with the information statue, and I really like the way that came out, even though it's pretty simple. And then in back is the Able Sisters shop, and in fact it worked out. I was thinking I might need to change it to hide it somehow, but having a jungle theme clothes and stuff out here really worked. I feel like they would definitely have souvenirs for the shop too. One of my favorite parts of the area that's finished is all the way up on top. You can see so much beautiful and green all the way throughout the whole island area. On stream over on Twitch, sometime probably this week, we are going to put this part of the island together, and I'm going to do it with you guys. I want to show you a little bit of the process I do and involve you a little bit more. My plan is to move in 2 or 3 new, characters, people that are here to study the island. These are not workers of the tourists, they are workers of the ruins. To celebrate you and the people who have been supporting my community, if you want to come over to stream that date, you can redeem points to be one of those tourists yourself. Keep an eye on the community tab here on YouTube, or join us over on Discord if you want to be notified when we're going to do that stream. I'm hoping to have a few of you guys named like you, looking like you, coming to join me on the island. This jungle is coming together so fast, and I cannot wait to finish it and bring people over to visit. I just am really loving this particular theme. I hope you found something useful here and continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.